The flyer promised an easy $2,000 for a 3-night sleep study. Being a month behind on rent, I didn't hesitate. The address led me to a stark, white building with no name, just a number. Inside, the silence was heavy, broken only by the hum of fluorescent lights. A woman in a crisp lab coat, Dr. Eris, greeted me without a smile. Her eyes were clinical, assessing me like a specimen. She led me to my room. It was more like a cell, a bed, a small table, and a large one-way mirror covering an entire wall. "For observation," she said, her voice flat. It felt like I was the entertainment. They had me change into thin paper scrubs and attached dozens of electrodes to my head and chest. The wires felt like cold, metallic insects crawling on my skin. "Just relax," Dr. Eris instructed, but relaxing was impossible. As the lights went out, a low hum filled the room. It wasn't sleep that came, but a forced, synthetic state of consciousness. My mind was pulled into a dream that wasn't mine. It was a blank, white space. In the center of the whiteness, a figure began to form. It was a vague, smoky silhouette, like a charcoal sketch that hadn't been finished. It had no features, but I felt it watching me intently. I woke up with a pounding headache and a profound sense of exhaustion, far worse than if I hadn't slept at all. The sheets were damp with sweat. Dr. Eris just made a note on her clipboard. During the mandatory rest period, I wandered the halls. Every surface was reflective: the polished floors, the glass on the picture frames, the chrome door handles. I couldn't escape my own tired face or the feeling of being watched. That's when I noticed it. In the reflection from a darkened monitor, I saw myself turn my head a split second before I actually did. I froze, my heart hammering. It had to be a trick of the light. I tried to tell myself I was just tired, that my mind was playing tricks on me. But the feeling of wrongness clung to me like a shroud. I ate the bland meal they provided, my appetite gone. Night 2 came too quickly. As they attached the wires again, I asked Dr. Eris about the dreams. "All data is valuable," she replied, her voice a sterile wall. The hum started, and I was pulled back into the white void. The figure was there again, but it was closer, and the details were sharper. It had my height, my build. It was mimicking my posture. I had a memory in the dream, one of my childhood dog, Buster. The figure tilted its head, and for a moment, the smoky void of its face swirled into a vague approximation of a dog's snout before dissolving. It was learning from me. It was sifting through my memories, my feelings, my very identity. This wasn't a sleep study. It was some kind of psychic harvesting. I tried to scream, but I had no voice in that place. When I woke up this time, I felt hollowed out. I looked at my hands, and for a terrifying moment, I couldn't remember my own name. It came back to me in a rush, but the brief vacuum of self was horrifying. I demanded to speak with Dr. Eris. I told her I wanted out, that something was wrong. She just smiled, a thin, cold crack in her face. "The protocol must be completed," she said. I tried the door to the outside. It was locked. Every window was reinforced glass. I was a prisoner, not a participant. My panic began to curdle into a cold, sharp dread. There was no escape. I spent the day pacing my room, staring at the one-way mirror. I saw it again, a flicker of movement. My reflection scratched its nose, but my hand was hanging at my side. I flinched back in shock. It wasn't a trick. The thing in the mirror held my gaze, its expression subtly different from my own. There was a confidence there, a smugness. It was like looking at a predator that knew it had already won. I refused to sleep. When the staff came for me, I fought back. It was useless. 2 large orderlies held me down while Dr. Eris injected something into my neck. My limbs went numb, my consciousness fading. The white void welcomed me like an old friend. The figure stood before me, but it was no longer a smoky outline. It was me, a perfect, solid copy, wearing the same paper scrubs, but its eyes were empty. It opened its mouth and spoke with my voice, but the sound was hollow, an echo. "Almost done," it said, and smiled my smile. "Soon there will be enough data to fully integrate." It reached out and pressed a hand to my forehead. I felt a lifetime of memories, my fears, my hopes, my love for my family, being pulled out of me like thread from a spool. I was being unwritten. With a final, violent jolt, I woke up. I was alone, the wires and electrodes gone. The door to my room was slightly ajar. My heart pounded with a desperate, frantic hope. I scrambled out of bed and ran. The main door was unlocked. I burst out into the cool night air, gasping for breath. I didn't stop running until the white building was just a speck behind me. I thought I was free. I thought I had escaped. I finally stopped in front of a darkened storefront to catch my breath. I looked at my reflection in the large plate glass window. For a second, just a single terrifying second, my reflection didn't stop. It kept walking, then turned and smiled at me before fading back into sync.